points in the gaze until a bit later on for the Lich, so could be a bit of an issue keeping some control in. FNATIC do have some solid ways of getting that lockdown themselves. Slaughter has 2 stunts within himself. You've got the cogs from the clock and the battery assault as well. So in terms of just freezing these heroes in place, FNATIC does look like they've got a little bit more of a run and gun lineup for that. But the team fight is looking spectacular for Vice. So just really need to see what they do want to toss up here in conjunction. Lich Jug sounds nice. It's the spin with a Frost Armor. We've seen that a couple of times before. And that is something that somewhat deals with a Slaughter Phoenix lane, as you mentioned. Spell immunity, again, going to be valuable. Not going to help you against the Bash of the Deeps, but Slaughter wouldn't be too keen to hit the Juggernaut while he's spinning anyway.
No, that is absolutely true. FNATIC, 30 seconds left for their reserve time now. The 4th pick to be made, and they do go into the Morphling, so bringing out a bit more of an older carry, but it just never seems to go out of meta, this Morphling hero, so we do see it here again. I didn't quite see any amazing morph targets for the Morphling this game so far, but I have seen a bit of the Lina being morphed into. It can be quite nice with the Fiery Soul. AM, however, being picked up by Vice Esports, and I believe we saw this multiple times yesterday from them, and it was performing very nicely. So they go back to that pickup. It seems to be a bit of a comfort pick here for Vice. And, well, I don't blame them. If this is what they feel good on, they may as well just take it. I don't think it does too badly into the Morphling either, especially if you can get through the mana pool of the Morphling. While he can strength morph, he is still a bit of a sitting duck. I suppose even against the Slaughter Phoenix lane, John, while you can kind of get bashed for a while, you are always going to have that blink available to just try and get away if you do lose a bit too much HP.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty decent back and forth for the AM. There's still a window of opportunity there for FNATIC to bully it out. AM level 1 to 3 are kind of lackluster, very vulnerable to the damage that FNATIC can pump out. So we'll have to see if they're going to opt for that more aggressive posturing here in FNATIC's end. The Morphling, as you mentioned, not the best targets in the world to morph into here, but it does have a lot of utility still. It's just a very safe bet to pick up. Vice Esports does not have a natural urn carrier. I suppose in this case, you might see the Lina pick it up on the 4, but doesn't feel like a very comfy pick for Lina. Potentially waiting for our Bob hero, unless he plays the Magnus, to take that role and just having a casual Spirit Vessel carrier to take care of the morph. FNATIC, for their part, they've got some decent team fight coming through, right? Slaughter Phoenix, we've been talking about for a while. Really have to see what they want down mid from Moon. Just something to give them a little bit more tempo. The Leshrac was banned out earlier on, so they don't have that option. But you want something quick here. Perhaps looking at Void Spirit could slide through for them, as it has been left in the pool. So they could just slip in and out. We've seen Moon play that before. Does tend to deliver a very solid performance as well, if they want that. So could be an option for FNATIC to close it out. They do have last pick overall as well, so they can kind of sneak something through, and Vice is going to have to show us what exactly they want to do with their Magnus AM, what lanes they want to run this Magnus in specifically.
No, I do agree with that. I mean, the Ember would have definitely been nice, but of course Vice got rid of it straight off the bat, and you also saw the Kunkka being removed, just not wanting those kind of direct counters towards the anti-mage. We'll see if he does go down the Voice Spirit route, or maybe even a Puck route. Does seem kind of decent here into the anti-mage and even the Magnus. Vice Esports, though, they'll be the ones to make their first pick. Is it gonna be a mid mag? Are they gonna throw it in the off lane and get something else? Is the question right now. And in all fairness, I don't believe we've seen Bob play the mid mag quite as yet. So I'm kind of guessing that they're probably gonna go for something a little bit different here for Bob. The Magnus might be a little bit too slow in that position 2 role, especially when you've got the anti-mage there, who is going to try and take as much farm priority as possible. And they do go for the Batrider, who I imagine is probably going to be mid, or they just mix it up depending on what the lanes look like. And FNATIC now, up against that Batrider, I wonder what they pick up, because there's not really many heroes that beat the Batrider in the mid lane, and unfortunately for them, they did get rid of the LC themselves. So they aren't going to have that Legion Commander to go to.
Yeah, not many options in terms of a core to deal with a bat. The Abaddon's there, but you don't really want to run Abaddon down mid. They will have to just go for the Riki. So it looks like we're seeing the Moon Morphling come out here potentially, or unsure how they do it. No, it's a Raven Morphling still. Moon on the Riki, so probably Raven down mid to deal with a Bat Rider, or Moon on the Riki against the Bat. I feel like we've seen Bat against Riki. I can't really recall if that's something you want to run the Riki on. I'd say no, but Riki has surprised us a couple of times. We'll have to see what FNATIC brings out. Rather interesting way to close out the draft, but that silence from the Riki is one way to really ruin the Heroes of Vice, right? Like, the AM does not like that AoE silence. Definitely depends on the blink to get out of there. Manta Salt's not going to help for the most part. So you're going to get a lot of value from Moon jumping onto Palos, preventing the AM from being mobile. And that in itself could be exactly what FNATIC needs. So really interesting drafts. Again, very different from what we're used to seeing. But it should make for an interesting game, and as both teams do have some very, very different playstyles coming out here.
Yeah. We'll see how this pans out. Game number 1, of course, again, FNATIC and Vice Esports. Both of them really would like to get a 2-0 victory here. A draw would also be nice, but, you know, you'd rather not if you can avoid it. And both teams, I mean, Vice is kind of fighting to just get out of this tiebreaker. I believe they still do have somewhat of a chance to make it through to the upper bracket of the playoffs, but that would mean they have to get a 2-0 victory, and they would have to kind of hope that the other teams do not do too well later on. So we'll see how this all pans out. FNATIC, again, they are just trying to secure their upper bracket slot and maybe even take the second place spot if they can. We're going to find out if they can right now as Game 1 has begun. And overall, I mean, I never really asked you to confirm this, but did you prefer the Vice draft or did you prefer the FNATIC draft?
It's a bit tricky. I think I'm going to have to see how Moon does in the Riki mid against the Bat. Like, if he can hold out, slow down the Bat, then you've suddenly got 2 cores on the side of Vice that really need to build up fast. Like, we've seen offlane Magnus fall flat when you're just kind of stuck with a Guardian Greaves, no option for the blink, definitely no Echo Saber down the line if you are going for that utility build. So it all kind of hangs on how well Bob can do on the Bat Rider, which means for FNATIC's end, it relies on how much Moon can apply pressure onto Bat. So I think it's rather even outside of that. You've got good timings in the AM, but the Morphling, if you decide to drag it long, with the Riki on the pool, can kind of strangle the AM. It's always going to be about that smoke screen on the AM until some Force Staffs are up on your supports or maybe even on the Bat Rider. The AM's going to be a stuck target there, especially if you find something like an Atos down the line as well. So Palos is going to have to watch himself in this game, really watch how far forward he goes and really try to farm as fast as possible with Empower.
He's going fairly far forward now, right into Jabs in fact. He's going to try and fight out for this bounty rune, but Jabs proves to be the faster clicker out of the two. Palos will just get himself out. However, DJ top lane might just be dead here. Samael has the Light Strike Array and they do manage to get the first blood. And that's one thing about Vice Esports that we've learned over the past couple days, John. They love to fight extremely early, and they will go for these first blood plays pretty much every game.
Yeah, it really sets them up really nicely as well, right? You get a nice amount of gold being split up here. For Enryu, he gets a little bit of an EXP boost. Key thing is that Samael on his Lina, and he's done so much work on his Lina. Just getting that first blood means he gets to ferry out some additional regen, get some zoning off. DJ on the clock already trying to gap close, but with the boots up on Samael, you're not going to gap close that easily. And of course, you have to remember the Lina has insane range. So this is not going to be a very easy lane for FNATIC. Going to have to watch themselves here. At the least, Raven shouldn't be under threat until perhaps level 2 or level 3 comes out for Enryu and Samael. But by then, he should have enough levels in the shift to really start to mitigate a lot of that damage.
I really like the decision made here by Samael, John. He goes for the brown boots very early on to make sure that DJ can't really keep up on the clockwork. That's one way you can kind of just make sure the clock has really no effectiveness in this lane. It's just make sure the support can't get caught out by the battery assault and just die. Of course, he is still going to have to be somewhat concerned about the cogs that do come out of DJ, but that's assuming DJ is able to land those cogs, which again, is going to be fairly hard if you can't really keep up with the movement speed of the Lina. He's going to be fairly behind that. But bot lane, Zenki is going to go down. Masaros able to pick up the kill. I'm not sure how Zenki got that far down, but he does end up dying.
It was a close call. He was right outside melee range, but of course with orb walking, with how it is in Dota with melee attacks, Masaros hit from a mile away. It looked like 300 units away, which is an interesting definition of melee. Still, this bot lane for FNATIC going solidly. You talked, the combination of the Slaughter plus Phoenix is fairly strong. This is a slightly slower start for AM. You don't really want to cop too many stunts and damage, but he is getting controlled here.
He is. Palos going to be in a spot of trouble, but with the Frost Shield, looks like he is going to be fairly safe. Zenki going to just make sure he has that available every single time to just ensure Palos can get away. But like we kind of talked about in the drafting stage, it's definitely not going to be a very easy lane for Palos. Even if you are playing the AM and you can drain the mana of Masaros, it's the Bash of the Deeps you're going to have to be very worried about. And of course, even with the Fire Spirits out from Jabs, sure you get some magic resist with the counter spell, but it still does add up and it does get a little bit painful here for Palos as time goes on. And it's not like he's gone for the passive regen kind of build either. He has just gone for the double Wraithband build, so he's not going to have that passive regen coming in every so often to just keep him alive as they go again. Looks like he'll be fine, but mid lane, Moon dropping very low, and even top lane. DJ dropping extremely low now in the Clockwork. Samael might be in trouble, however, and does actually end up going down first. Raven able to clean up the Lina kill, and looks like he does even lose his courier in the meantime. Meanwhile, Moon and Bob go down, but Moon... So, Moon dies, does get the kill on Bob straight after he dies. I guess the tower got him and buys back.
It looks like he really wanted that range creep. I don't know if that's a net positive in terms of EXP. He's still going to be behind this Bat Rider. And again, boils down to this lane. Ricky versus Bat, it's not a totally lost lane for Ricky, but it's really just not an easy lane at all, right? There are some ways to play it. You keep playing with your Blink Strike, trying to get last hits.
Oh, he might die back, John. Bob knows. He's going to chase him down to the ends of the earth for this. Kong's going to come out. DJ trying to desperately keep him alive. Moon, tricks of the trade. I just can't see him surviving. Yeah, he'll go down. A dieback. Bob going to give him the tip straight off the bat. And Bob is going to be a full level and a half ahead of Moon now on that Ricky. And he is down for 40 seconds. This is an absolute disaster for FNATIC.
Right. I don't know what's up with that. Like, I get the creep wave was under there, but you really risk a lot playing for that rune as well. And giving Bob this kind of start, we've seen it before. When Bob gets off to a running start, he delivers for his team. He buys that space out. And it is one of the conditions for Vice. Like, this Bat Rider needs to be the space maker. You need to buy that space for the AM and for the Magnus even to get up to a running start. And so far, Bob is set to have that good start. Once he hits 6, he might look for an opportunity to kill. More than likely just accelerate his farm with the added levels. But this lane for Moon, it's a really slow lane. He's either going to need to get some help or just find some farm elsewhere, as you can't really lane against a Bat Rider at this point.
No, you can't. I mean, he's going to have Lasso up. It's as soon as Moon shows himself, he's probably just going to die. And, we'll see what Moon does get done here. It looks like he has gone to the neutrals on the side. He'll just try to take advantage of that instead. You can see Zenki even rotating into the mid lane. See what's going on. See if he can catch out Moon on that Ricky. Get some wards down as well. Just defensively here for the Bat Rider. But I mean, yeah, this Ricky, he's kind of just stuck waiting around now for the creep wave to be underneath this tier 1 tower. And even then, he's not safe. Like, there's just so many heroes coming into the mid lane. Bob is going to smoke up now with Zenki. They're going to try and sneak up from behind a Moon. He should not know this is happening. He has no Blink Strike targets either. He's going to get lassoed up, and he's probably going to die. Oh, Vice, they're just playing this so well. They are really playing this perfectly.
They are. The rotations really paying off. They're finding pretty decent wins across their lanes. The one lane that went slow was Palos' lane. But given some space mid, it is nice, although he's copping some damage here. Yeah,
Jabs trying to get some damage out, does get the kill, and Jabs will give him the tip. Now onto Zenki he goes. With this Haste Rune getting a lot of damage off now, Moon gonna Blink Strike in, and with the tricks of the trade, perhaps they kill him off, and they do. Bob is going to TP back into the mid lane with the Flame Break going after Jabs, but Jabs has the Icarus Dive out of there, and he is going to be fine. And so they do kind of get a bit of revenge in that mid lane, especially by killing Palos on the AM. It's still looking pretty darn good for Vice, but FNATIC, they do claw their way back a little bit.
Yeah, they are getting the right targets out, and that is something that Vice is really slowing down on. Like, they do have some decent farm in Enryu, not too far behind Raven in that lane, so our Magnus has been keeping up well. Masteros has completely taken over the bot lane, though, and that's where you can really see how far Palos is. 15-3 in last hits. He's going to need a lot of stacks coming in. He's going to need his Magnus to stick next to him with Empower. Otherwise, the Battle Fury timing for Palos is not going to look too well. So Vice need to protect their aim a bit better. They are just trying to have Palos lane against Moon to get some manageable farm, but Moon at level 5 now is starting to feel a bit comfier in that lane. So yeah, you still really have to keep an eye out on your aim and have some TPs ready in case he does get jumped.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness to Moon, the Bat Rider matchup is extremely hard as a Riki. So he did probably the best he could there just to try and be able to survive and get as much as he can. But he is definitely in catch-up mode now. So he is desperately wanting that level 6 and 7 to be able to get active with his team. Meanwhile, DJ having a look at Enryu here up at that top lane, but I don't believe there's too much DJ can do here to slow Enryu down. It is a bit too late for that, and Enryu can always just skewer away if he needs to. It looks like he is just going to be fine to pull the creep wave away and just farm that up. DJ now going to try for the Battery Assault, trying to force out the skewer from Enryu, but Enryu not using it yet. Now does bring in DJ along, but he just wants to get out of there. Doesn't want to bar of this clockwork. Samael, he tried to get a bit more damage out onto DJ, but it wasn't going to be enough to kill him off. So DJ now just walk off and he'll be within safety's range. However, bot lane looks like Jabs is going to make a jump onto Bob. Bob going to be alright for now. The gaze is going to be there from Zenki trying to hold Masaros down, but the bash does come in from Masaros. He gets Bob into Zenki now. There's not really much this Lich can do to survive, and he is going to die. Jabs and Masaros really just turning this game around for FNATIC.
They're finding some big wins with those kills. Vice overstepping a bit with Bob, just feeling a bit too confident. He was looking for the bait with the lasso under tower. Doesn't have the turn rate to really maximize it. Slaughter just gets that hit off, so a bit reckless from Vice. Really good pickups there from FNATIC. They take the lead now as well. 3k up in that word. That gap we were talking about with Raven on his morph having a free lane, it's really growing wider. Like, Enryu is trying to keep up pace, but this is basically a free farm lane for Raven. And we've seen Raven get this kind of start before. If you leave him alone, it's going to be hard to deal with him down the line. They drag Bob up, but this is not going to be an easy jump in onto the morph.
Bob, he might be in danger right now. DJ going in for a Battery Assault, but Cogs are out as well. They're trying to kill off DJ, and they will. Looks like they thought Bob may have been alone there on the Bat Rider, but that was not the case, and they'll take themselves a +5 kill. Jabs and Raven, they were around, but I don't think they really want to try and force a team fight here. It is a bit too early for the Morphling to get this involved in fighting. So instead, Jab's going to have to try and make a run for it. Meanwhile, Bob does have Lasso up and might go for an attempt onto Jabs. With the Flame Grape, it's still not enough damage, and now Bob might be in danger. Moon comes in, the Bat Rider in trouble, and they will get the kill. Moon very happy to pick that one up, and Jabs will remind Bob that he did tip Moon earlier on.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to get some punishment out here on FNATIC's end. Vice, though, they're using the space pretty nicely. They're giving Palos a lot of room to farm up. Still has a lot of catch-up to play through, but he is going for this switch up in the AM build. It's, you know, reminiscent of the God King build, Mask of Madness coming through first into the power treads. So he is just going to try to farm efficiently with the Empower. Every time the Magnus is around, this is one way for the AM to catch up. We'll see if Palos is given that space. Vice needs to start playing together, maybe even just getting an RP on one while they can, and while FNATIC's not really grouping up this 5. We have seen Jabs not be too scared of dropping the egg. Same thing needs to come out here from Enryu. You know, he needs to be pretty fearless when he drops the RP. Just going for an early kill at this point in the game doesn't hurt your team's chances at all.
Absolutely not. And there's that Mask of Madness now popping up on the AM, but Moon now getting active on that Ricky. Wants to try and have a go here onto the AM. They do not have smoke screens, so there's not really a chance of this death happening. Enryu is also around with the RP, but they are not going to commit. They'll let Moon Blink strike out. They don't really want to risk wasting that RP this early on. Bob now going to get spotted. A lot of TPs coming in. They really want this kill. They are not happy with Bob this game, and he does get hookshot by DJ, but he's going to go for a run, but Raven will come in to clean up with the waveform. And it looks like Bob might have a target on his back in game number 1.
And he did seem fairly happy about mid. But Bob is also putting himself in the line of trouble here. He's just always on the opposite side of the map. No teammates to back him up cleanly. FNATIC are just finding that weakness and really punishing it. It feels like Vice is not as coordinated.
Oh, Enryu going for a skewer back. Moon going to pop the tricks of the trade now, and Enryu is going to take a fair bit of damage, but is going to be able to back out. But FNATIC, they are feeling very, very confident with this lead now. 4K net worth for game number 1 so far at 12.5 minutes in. Now they do get a lot of damage out onto that tier 1 mid tower before they do decide to back off. And it seems like FNATIC's game plan is to not really allow the space for this anti-mage this game, as now they jump into the Radiant Triangle. Lasso is there from Bob onto DJ. He should tick out and will. RP and Ryu not throwing it out quite yet. Moon going to jump back in onto the Magnus, getting him pretty darn low. On the side, Samael going to be in trouble. He gets the Laguna off, but Raven is going to be able to survive through it. And Masaros is the one to take the kill, so 1 for 1 in the end on supports. Bob still moving in, but Moon is around the corner, just ready to pounce. Now Zenki going to be there to just frost shield him up and make sure he survives. They are looking down jabs, however Moon going to jump back in with the Chain Frost now. Coming up from Zenki, but it's not going to be enough. Raven even jumping in with the Adaptive Strike, and it's a perfect bait out from jabs. Just baiting the side of Vice back in. In fact, mid lane now, Palos going to be in trouble. He does have the Blink Strike, however Raven has morphed into the AM. Going to go back into Palos. Now Enryu going to be targeted. He has the RP, but is he going to commit it to try and survive? Raven's not giving up. There's the RP coming out, but it looks like he is going to tick out. Adaptive Strike comes out, and they do get the kill. In fact, they found another. Samael also going to drop. FNATIC a 6-15 lead now, 6K net worth lead. They are looking very, very good, and Moon's not done. He's continuing to just stalk Palos here. Looks like he realizes, though, he can't really kill the AM by himself, especially without Smokescreen or the Diffusal Blade. So he's just going to often just keep eyes on what this AM's doing. In fact, never mind, he is going to make the jump. Just be very annoying towards Palos.
Yeah, it's been a really messy time. They're just all over the map now, FNATIC. Getting the punishment off. They find another kill onto Bob. We've seen our Batrider really stall out here. He's got the travels, but doesn't have an easy way to reach into the backline again. They're going to need a blink on either the Magnus or the Batrider down the line if they want to kill off the back. Because FNATIC's been very disciplined in keeping DJ and Jabs at back, and they smoke up again.
Oh, they do. Raven's got a DD rune active right now, so Masaros is going to go straight in. Hookshot doesn't actually land on the AM, so they miss out on the kill. They'll try for Enryu, but it looks like he's going to be just fine to walk out, or maybe not. He made a backstep. The Light Strike rate does come in with the Chain Frost, however. It's a lot of damage coming up at Raven. He waveforms out. Meanwhile, Masaros does die, but Jabs will get the trade onto Enryu. And now Bob going to try and make the chase onto this Phoenix with a lasso out. He might just have enough, but Jabs, he does have the egg. The egg should be taken out, however, and it looks like Zenki is going to be there to help out in making sure it does die. And ultimately, Vice Esports will get the better side of that trade.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice win for Vice. Not the biggest heroes to take out, but it's still a solid gold injection their way. They do manage to barely save Palos. Unfortunate for DJ, his hook shot was blocked by, I believe it was Raven blocking the way, so not quite the coordination you'd want, but you've still got a massive lead here on the side of FNATIC. Moon?
Oh, very close.
If he had vision. Oof.
He had the skewer. He had it for maybe 0.1 of a second, but it wasn't long enough. Bob really playing around with Masaros here. He might end up killing himself, and he does. He thought he was safe because of that sentry ward, but it's nighttime, so he could not see Moon coming in. And of course, the Blink Strike range is fairly long, even without the Blink Strike talent up yet. And even Masteros just keeps going. Samael now going to go down. DJ, meanwhile, hooking into the Lich, and they're going to find Zenki. All off the back of Masteros, once again.
He is just doing a lot of work on the Slardar with a blink. All he has is that blink and the Hood of Defiance. That's enough for him to stand in the front, get the control off. FNATIC are playing really well with that power spike they've gotten from the Slardar. They immediately divert towards Roshan as well. Going to be a very nice and fast Rosh. I believe that was probably spotted out by the ward, but Vice just don't have any easy way of contesting the Roshan right now.
Well, it's going to be a nice easy Roshan out for FNATIC, especially with the Sunray to come in from Jabs to make sure everyone stays healthy. FNATIC, they are looking very strong today in this game number 1. Zenki going to have to be a little bit careful over in that triangles. They do spot him D-warding, but looks like he is probably going to get away with it. While that Roshan was happening, Palos ended up getting that bottom tier 1 tower, so they got something for their trouble, but they need some help right now because Masteros, he's not done. He wants to go after Bob. Meanwhile, an RP is committed, but it's only onto Jabs. Lasso is going to be there onto Masteros. He's been cliffed, but Moon is going to come in onto Bob. And Masteros will be able to TP out. Now Moon jumping back in, looking for more. Enryu gonna go down to Jabs by himself. Samael trying to run, but he cannot. He will die to the sun that is Jabs. And now Zenki just trying to get out of there on the Lich. Looks like he is gonna have to pop a smoke just to be safe. But Vice Esports losing another 3 heroes. This is a very rough time for them.
It's not looking clean at all. FNATIC are just all over the place, really building off the back of Masteros, just enabled to be in the front. Like, there's nothing that can damage him with his very early Pipe of Insight already completed. The damage from Vice right now is mainly magical. It's all relying on the Lina, relying on the Lich, the Bat Rider to get some stacks up of the Napalm, and they're just not able to break off that initiation. Vice need to wait for that blink to come out. We're seeing Bob queue it up. Just about 400, 500 gold off. Once you have that blink on the Bat Rider, you can at least hunt for 1. Ideally, you'd get this blink as well on Enryu, but the map is shrinking. It's a really small map now, not very safe to farm up. They are prioritizing Palos as you'd tend to. Even then, his farm's just not quick. He's still number 3 in net worth, right behind Masteros, but everyone else is taking huge hits because of that.
Oh, Palos in trouble. Masteros again with the stun out and the smoke screen there from Moon, and Palos is going to die onto Enryu. They go, and poor old Enryu just can't sustain the damage. Just great coordination out from FNATIC this game 1. Onto Zenki now. The clumsy net out from Jabs. Poor old Zenki is going to die, and Masteros just dives behind onto Samael, and Raven going to come in for the final attack. And this is probably the best coordination we've seen out of FNATIC throughout the group stages, John. I'd have to say
it really is.
It's very nice.
It really is. Like, they're all on point. They're coordinating well with the jumps in. Masteros seems to be taking command of his team along with Moon this time around. They're just finding these opportunities, blowing holes open in the defense of Vice. And Vice, for their part, they're lagging way too far behind the farm. Although
Lasso is there onto the Slardar. They really want to get rid of this pesky guy, but RP going to be committed. They want to make sure he dies. Message has been sent from Vice. They know who the real big problem is in these team fights. And who's really starting every team fight. Bob now going to find an arcane room, but DJ will not actually take it. He does give it over to Bob, and Moon is going to jump in with the smoke screen. Now Enryu going to catch him out with the gaze out from the Lich, but the tricks to the trade is there. Waveform in. Zenki going to die. Moon somehow still alive, but does get Laguna down. Will still respawn with the Aegis. They still found 2 for nothing. Enryu trying to run, but the skewer away from Raven. Gonna cancel the TP off, and they get a 3rd kill for themselves. And poor old Bob, all he can do is just creep skip the mid lane while he can with that Firefly, but that's literally all they can do.
that was just way too deep. Like, after they found that 1 kill, they kept running down into the rune. Costs them. They should have just been satisfied with that 1 kill. They know they don't have RP. They didn't have Lasso. It's a weak time for them to fight. Vice nicely punished once more by FNATIC. They did still manage to get some gold going. I believe Palos is at least somewhat ready to stand in front with a Manta. He has a little bit more presence out. This is not helping their overall state there. They can't find
Bob.
towers in the bot lane.
Oh, Jabs found Bob. Well, Bob's going to be okay. Raven is going to be the one chased down, but he's going to back off to safety, and now they're just baiting Masaros around the corner. Lasso is going to be up, but the blink is there with the stun out from Masaros, but Masaros is getting low. They gaze him up. Palos on top trying to take him down. He's trying to make a run for it. He's pretty darn fast, but Palos is eventually going to get the kill into Jabs now. And Raven, they have not got an RP, but they're going to try and go for this anyway. DJ with the hook shot now, just dragging out Palos. Mana Void not going to do anything. Palos is going to die. Moon on a triple kill now on the Ricky after Zenki perhaps, and they will make the jump underneath the tier 2 tower. Zenki has no chance of survival. Raven will be the one to take that kill, and they are onto the tier 2 tower now.
Oh man, I mean, it's really nice that Vice is trying to find these angles now with the blink on their Batrider. It's just not lining up. Like, they knew there was a Phoenix around as well. They must have known there was going to be more backup. They tempt fate. They get 2 at least, but they might lose more.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose more. Enryu trying to run. He does have the RP, but he'll go for the skewer. Moon doesn't want to dive too deep, and now Bob's here. They don't have a lasso available, however. DJ going for the cogs and Moon with the smoke screen, but the Firefly burning him out, and the Dragon Slave is going to get the kill. I believe with the sticky napalm, John, he couldn't really get the turn in time to blink strike away, which is why I believe he just kept fighting there. Now DJ raised Bob for a double damage room, but Raven, he wants that double damage himself. And speaking of Raven, by the way, John, he has an Eye of Skadi up now.
Ooh, so many issues now for Vice. Even just contending with that Skadi, the slow it brings out, the mitigation and heals, which again, you do have this mech on Enryu, so taking away some of that effective healing is gonna hurt Vice, and they need every single advantage they can get. FNATIC 12 to 35 here, Mike. 15k up, just domination off the bat. And this is Vice. This is the team that we have seen do a couple of upsets. This performance so far, honestly, they're not playing bad. This is the exact same playstyle we're used to seeing from them. It's just FNATIC seems to know what they want to do. They seem to know how to punish Vice, punish their movements out. There is a smoke here, though.
Oh, Palos.
Find something.
He would have loved that DD, but Moon is going to show himself. Dust is going to come out. They saw that. Moon wants to make the blink strike in. Sentry's being placed, but immediately dewatered as Masaros goes in. He found Palos. The smoke screen there. The RP not going to land on Moon. He'll just keep going. The tricks to the trade, but the blink strike is out of there from the AM still. The rest of the team going to be in massive, massive trouble. So they do lose 2 supports. Masaros going for a bit more now. He found Enryu. There is no skewer away this time around, and Masaros setting up a kill for DJ to take with the rocket flare. And it's just not going to slow down Moon. He still has that DD rune active, so he'll go and get some sweet, sweet revenge on poor old Bob.
Oh.
I'm sure Moon is behind his PC screen smiling right now, John.
That he would be after that little slip up down mid. Still FNATIC, they've got this opportunity to go high ground. No RP for a minute 20.
Oh, Masaros.
Is a lasso with a respawn though.
Masaros trying to fight. Zenki goes down in the Radiant base. Masaros, can you survive this? Palos, he's not going to go for it. He does not want to deal with the Ricky. In fact, it was just DJ coming in. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Samael also goes down. Raven picking up another kill on the Morphling. And there is just no space to be had for Vice Esports. Nowhere is safe.
They've got no room to farm in. It's all down to Palos getting that split push game going. And that's the best you can hope for now from Vice. Maybe you find the blink eventually. I mean, they do have the blink on Enryu. It's that they need the opportunity to get the RP off. The damage is definitely lacking. It's just not there anymore with how far behind they are. They're going to need Palos to really finish up his own Skadi here. Get something else. I'd say you'd want a Basher Abyssal, more than likely, maybe even a BKB on the AM, just to ensure you can stand and fight without worrying about that smoke screen. But those are all way too far off, and Palos just always has to throw himself out in front in these waves to get some farm up.
That they do. Jabs having a look at Zenki. Masaros thinking about jumping in, but there are plenty of heroes around. This could be very dangerous. Palos still just trying to get his own farm up. Almost has the Skadi up now on the AM, but how's Raven looking? He's almost got a butterfly up, so it's not like you're really going to be able to hit him once you've got that Eye of Skadi, which is going to be problematic. Meanwhile, Moon is going for a Basher. So it's going to be much, much more effective in making sure they lock down Mr. Palos on the AM. And speaking of effective, another effective thing is having a secondary life, and that Roshan will give them exactly that.
It just doesn't last long. You've got Corrosive Haze, you've got so much damage coming through. Oh.
Bot lane is not going to tie. Palos is still chasing Sunray. Jabs! He'll get away from this. Palos, he's getting bashed up. He can't blink to Jabs, and Jabs will bait another one in. How does he do it, John? Every game, Jabs, he just keeps baiting calls in. Now Bob's here. Bob's just dead. Moon says thank you very much for that. And it's a 12-43.
Yeah, it's a slaughter. Vice just taken to the chopping board, and well, it's gonna be hard to recover the pieces here, Mike. Gonna go onto those racks. Nothing to stop Raven. They need to find something here, Vice, but for the most part, without the RP, they just can't really fight well. You do again have Lasso to respawn of Bob, but it does feel like it's just not enough. Even if you lock in one, it doesn't matter when you're 23k behind. They need multiple pickoffs to start winning here. They are getting some creep cuts out with Samael, at least, on the bot lane. That's all you can really hope for, but it's not going to stop the push.
One rack's down. They're going for the secondary racks down to that bot lane, and of course they can't aim for Megas anyway, as the tier 2 top tower is still standing for Vice Esports, but they'd love a secondary racks. However, Enryu gets a skewer away and a double light strike array into the chain frost. It's a great start. Hook shot in is not going to be good enough. Mana Void is a lot of damage as well, but Raven still going after that tier 3. It's like DJ is going to be left behind. Jabs is still there as well. He could not Icarus dive out in time. And that skewer play from Enryu proves to be very, very effective, even getting a bit lucky there and finding two heroes into the light strike array. And now Masaros is trying to run, but Palos is going to have enough damage in enough time. And they will be able to defend at least one lane of racks.
That's a pretty big defense coming out for Vice. Just the fact that they managed to get that working is already impressive in and of itself. FNATIC, gotta respect that teamfight potential coming in, just the relocation that Enryu can have. That is one of the strongest points of the Magnus, of course. The fact that RP pierces through and that skewer can put you in a very awkward spot. So they still have a massive lead here in FNATIC's end, but that does give Vice a nice gold injection. Palos is already comfy with it.
Yeah, Zenki. He tried to save his own life. Enryu, oh, you missed the cliff as well. Raven wouldn't have cared anyway. He does have the waveform, but he'll go after Bob now. Bob trying to run. Adaptive Strike is there, but they do get the Aegis. Still not too bad, as now Palos going to be around. Zenki going to buy back on the Lich. They really would love to get this Morphling, and Raven has gone too far. Will end up going down to Vice. And even with this net worth advantage, you do not want to underestimate the comeback potential of this draft from Vice. Though I say that, Moon's going to jump in on the Riki now, going back after Palos. Gets a nice bash off. Masaros with the stun as well. Palos still going to be able to blink away. Very close call for him. Won't be enough from FNATIC.
Nah, it's still a really big pickup for Vice in the end. Finding this Morphling makes everything worthwhile. You are slowly chipping away that lead. It's still massive though, 17k up on FNATIC, but you're giving options here for AM to get bigger. Enryu's got some room as well to start itemizing beyond just that blink and mech that he has. He's going to go for the Force Staff next. Again, important to break heroes out of the smoke screen once you have that Force Staff. So that's going to give Vice another option to get out of that silence. And now for Vice, it's time to try to get your other cores farmed up. Bob saving up for his Yules, has his own Force Staff up. Going to be important to have the Yules to, again, save yourself, buy some time out. FNATIC, for their part, they are still building up. Like, Moon is saving up for his Nullifier. They just really need to stick as a team, get ready to back up Raven. He was fairly far out with no reinforcements nearby. So I think FNATIC just need to play as 5. When you play as 5, more than likely the chances of you being picked off are very low. And they still carry that huge lead. They've still got a lot of damage. They just need to be able to be within each other's reach here.
They do. Smoke up, Vice. They want to try and have a crack at the side of FNATIC, but there is a counter smoke here from FNATIC, and they're going to move right into each other. Smoke going to be broken on two. DJ going to show himself for a second, placing a ward there. But Masaros, he found the big target. He got Bob straight off the bat, and now Moon going straight after Samael. Can they get the bash off? DJ, a great hook shot in. Great coordination once again. Out from Moon and DJ. Into the mid lane, they spotted out Palos, but he is just creep skipping right now, and it looks like FNATIC are just going to try and ignore him, as they will go back towards that bot lane and try to clean up that second lane of racks.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to defend. No buybacks on those two heroes, so they're going to have to wait for the full response. There is an RP they could play with if they wanted to, but they just don't have the numbers. You can see Palos as well trying to cause some trouble, but he's spotted out here.
That he is. Palos in big trouble. Smoke screen is there. They need some bashes here. Palos does have the blink and will get away, but hook shot not going to be there in time. He'll be alright. Meanwhile, the bot racks did end up going down to Raven and Masaros. And with that, it's only one lane of barracks left here for the side of Vices. Well, Palos, he's trying his best to get the farm up, John. He's not that far behind in net worth, but the rest of his team is just so far behind. I mean, they're all behind Jabs on the Phoenix.
It's a nasty spot when you're lagging behind that opposing pause. Vice need to split the farm up, but there's just no way. So all you can hope for is the itemization Palos is going for helps out. He is going for the butterfly to get himself some more damage. Not going to help him in hitting Raven, but we have seen if Raven overextends, they do have some good magic damage still left, so they can still make work. Although Bob?
Yeah, Bob, he's trying to have a look here, see if he can find anyone. Palos, meanwhile, blinking into the secret shop, getting that butterfly up, and Moon jumping straight in onto Bob, and Masaros does jump in for the stun. Now finding Zenki, the Lich in big trouble. Looks like he will die. Samael also going to go down. A big RP up. Palos, does he have the damage output? He does not. The Mana Void will not be enough. They'll keep trying to fight this one out of the smoke screen, but it is not going to work out for them. They get cleaned up by Raven, who gets an ultra kill on the Morphling. And it was a good attempt, but there's no buybacks. They have to call the GG, and they will. And game one will go to the way of FNATIC.
Ooh, boy. Vice, they tried to make this AM work once again. They've been running it all day yesterday. It doesn't quite pay off this time around. They did have a good time early on. Bob was having an excellent time down mid against his Ricky mid, which we pointed out was going to be the stress test for FNATIC, right? They needed to get Moon off to a running start. It looked bad when he bought back and then died back, but they managed to hold out. They won their side lanes. It was all down to Masaros and Jabs. Like, from that laning phase, with the huge power that Slardar Phoenix had into the mid game, into the movements they were doing on the map, just setting up for the entire team. And I think Vice have to go back to the drawing board. They didn't change their playstyle. Was one of their strengths in the past few days, but FNATIC seems
Esports. It's MLP Dota and John X Fire. John, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. You know, that first game was an explosive one. FNATIC went off to a running start after a bit of a slower laning phase. They did manage to really overtake Vice. Vice went back to that AM draft. They managed to snag the Magnus as well. Bob was, again, off to a really good start against Ricky mid with his Bat Rider, but just kind of fell flat. I think Vice, they're still doing this playstyle where they run at you, they play aggressive. The AM doesn't quite complement that playstyle. I'd like to see something more active for Pilots perhaps coming out here, and perhaps Vice kind of respecting how much they did throw their bodies out for FNATIC. So we didn't see them prioritize harassing out Raven. His Morphling just got a bit too big as well, and I think a little bit of a change up here is required for Vice in the second game.
No, I would agree with you on that, John. It was a very fun game to watch, though, I might add. And I'm starting to really enjoy this Vice team, John. They tend to make teams need to fight early on. They don't follow the meta, which is, you know, tends to be a lot slower, or it has been in the past month or two. They are kind of forcing teams to just kind of get involved and fight ASAP. And that's what we love to see as the casters, and I'm sure the viewers enjoy that as well. We don't want to see people farming for 30 minutes. We're over that. We've been casting too long for that kind of crap. We just want to see blood, and that's what we got in Game 1. Though we'll see what they can do to switch things up in Game 2. Obviously in Game 1, we saw especially that mid lane, Bob was having an amazing time up against Moon. Got a dieback, I think in the first, 4 or 5 minutes. We saw a dieback on Moon immediately. But after that, they just, I believe it was Masaros and Jabs just got involved and ended up really taking over the map. And of course, Moon just caught up so darn quick, and along with the rest of the team, they just ended up snowballing and winning Game 1 fairly easily. We did talk about the group standings as well. FNATIC definitely want a 2-0 victory, but so do Vice Esports. Vice only having the option to draw now. FNATIC still in the hot seat to get the 2-0 if they can.
Yeah, we'll see if they can really hammer it in. You can see the banouts here as well. FNATIC paying respect towards that Magnus. They did leave it to slide through, so no option for that for Vice this time around. They do want to pull a bit of a win, pull that draw out, and kind of keep their place, or at least slowly climb up. Again, this is the end of groups here, so if you don't win one out here, you're stuck in your position. Vice do start with a Tiny though. That is a pretty popular for sometimes a mid hero, depending on the team. Vice just setting themselves up for some pretty decent aggression that can come out. Kind of fixing some of their issues. Like the support duo of Lich Lina was also something that kind of fell flat for Vice as well. Samael was doing good work in the Lina, but there was not much you can expect from Zenki's Lich. I think the Tiny's a bit more forgiving and a bit more playmakery than Alina is, so you've got more opportunities to toss back. You've got opportunities to save with the toss as well. So I think that does open up a few more possibilities here for Vice.
No, I would agree with that. I think the Lina is just purely a very lane-dominant kind of support. Whereas the Tiny, while he can be lane-dominant, it is much more impactful, like you mentioned, with that toss ability that, you know, no matter how much you nerf toss, it just never seems to get old. It always seems to be pretty darn good no matter what. Still, FNATIC, they go back to an old favorite. We do see the Undying popping up, and we've seen quite a bit of this over the past couple days. Not too surprised that FNATIC did opt to just go ahead and first pick it up. It is very, very powerful in this current meta. And I'm sure you're very happy the Undying's back for a little bit, John. Unfortunately for you, however, knowing that the patch should be coming out in a day or two, I'm sorry to say it, sir, but it looks like Undying may get nerfed again.
I don't mind. I think he needs... Honestly, like the playstyle of Undying now, it's really impactful. I personally don't enjoy it. I miss the days when you'd run Undying off, when you'd have tri-lanes come out, and you just pick the Undying off, and you'd laugh. You'd laugh because they'd throw 3 heroes against Undying solo. You do all sort of things. I want that Undying back. This Undying's still sort of fun, but all you do is maybe press Q a couple of times. What you really do is sit back, soul rip your core or soul rip your tombstone, and just stay alive within proximity for the flesh golem. That's really it. And it's still highly effective, mind you, but it's just not that fun pub stomping Undying that I used to love. I miss that hero. We'll see if it does come back. I doubt it's going to come back to that point unless tri-lanes make a reappearance. Still, Vice, do start with Grimstroke. So again, going back to that support duo you talked about, it's a really strong opening now. Tiny and Grimstroke a little bit more impactful. You've got a lot of lane partners that you can really start to dominate with a Tiny, with a Grim. FNATIC though do dip into the Lifestealer, and we tend to see this when you see the Tiny, right? Like Lifestealer's got this Rage. That means you don't worry about the Toss Avalanche combo early on. You've got a lot of ways of avoiding the control from Vice right now, so it's a really solid Lifestealer game. You've gotten the Undying as well to kind of buff you up and heal you up if in case you are in a spot of trouble, so it's a very solid pickup for FNATIC. We'll have to see what vehicles they do pick up for the Lifestealer. No one here yet that can get the Lifestealer to the front lines. Maybe we see DJ go back in that clock. That would be a very solid one if they want to do it. But for now, it is fairly open for FNATIC as well.
No, I would agree with you on that. FNATIC does seem to really enjoy going for that second pick, pos 1, whenever they feel like they may not get the pick they want. I think the Lifestealer is going to be very impactful, especially up against that Tiny Grimstroke, as we do tend to see quite a bit, especially the Tiny with that Shadow combo of the Avalanche Toss. Final ban out to come though. Vice Esports, they get rid of the Timbersaw, and FNATIC, they have one more left for them. Of course, they do respect ban out the Tidehunter as well, because, you know, it's Masaros, and God knows who'll take it if it is left. They won't have to worry about the Slaughter either, as that was actually banned out by FNATIC this time, as they don't want to have that run up against the Lifestealer, which is fair enough. So I do wonder what you do give Masaros now, because every game we've seen FNATIC play thus far has been hugely impacted by Masaros. Do you want to go back to something like the Night Stalker, for example, for Masaros this game? Oh! Ooh. Right, okay,
jabs.
So... yeah, jabs. Right, I mean... What's with the techies pick, John? Why? It's the first series of the day. I don't want this to drag out too long, John. I might have dinner tonight with the wife. What's happening?
You got to replan that date, Mike. We've got the techies. Now, FNATIC has done this before in the group stage here, and of course in other tournaments we've casted, but I believe they've done it here already. And I'm going to just take a quick look. Yeah, I've seen a T1 versus FNATIC that did have a techies. Now, for your info, Mike, that did end fast. It's like a 32-minute game, so not too long. FNATIC did lose. I couldn't tell you why the techies is here. I quite frankly... Well, there is one nice combo with Lifestealer. Infest, Suicide Squad in, Blast Off in, and then Infest out. That sounds pretty memey. That sounds kind of ridiculous as a vehicle for a Lifestealer. I don't think we've ever seen that done. But now I want to see that. Raven going in, getting the blast off, getting the silence.
You know why I hate techies so much, John? It's not the fact that it drags out the game. That's bad, but it's not, you know, it's not the worst thing. The worst thing for me is the fact that I have to watch so carefully as to what's going on in the map, because we're going to miss a billion kills because there's a techies in the game. And people in the chat always get upset. Every time. You know, there's like 2 people dying to remote mines and they get upset at me for missing them. I can't just watch remote mines the whole game, John. I can't do it. I have to zoom around and see what the other heroes are doing. And it's almost guaranteed, no matter how good you are of an observer, you just can't catch all the kills. And it upsets me, John. It makes me very upset.
It is going to be a ride. If you did want to watch remote mines, Mike, we could treat it like golf. You know, you and I were talking. I did say I wanted to try casting Dota like a golf game. That sounds like fun.
Well, I mean, you
just watching mines. That'd be fun. Could be enjoyable. Here they come. Is he going to set up the mines? Oh, he gets the mines. He gets the kill. Fantastic. With a nice little golf clap. That's one way to do it, I think, if you wanted to.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, we could treat the remote mines like the green. I guess he's on the green now.
Yeah. Lining up for the putt, 10 feet.
You sound like a very posh Filipino, John. I've never played or watched golf, so now we know all these money jokes you make. They're all a lie.
Oh, buzz off, Mike. FNATIC, they take the snap as well.
Yeah. Look at this. So gobble up into infested techies. No wait. How many can we do? How many can we send in?
I think it's just 2. I think to get the triple launch, I think you need a Pudge, right? So you the Ags on Lifestealer and the Ags on Pudge, and then you can kind of drag a weird convoluted train wreck into the snap and just kind of kill your entire team at once. That's one way to throw a game. But FNATIC snap, Vice Esports Jug, interesting back and forth. Juggernaut coming through. Actually ties nicely with this Beastmaster pickup that we've barely talked about. Beastmaster, of course, with a roar to hold the Lifestealer down is going to be nice. To pierce through that spell immunity. The Jug with a healing ward can keep the Beastmaster army alive for a push. And then you've got this very stable one, the Jug. Not too flashy. You've also got the Soul Bind into double roar coming out for Vice. So it is really solid. It just comes down to, are they ready for a Techies game? You know, I can say all of this, but if they're not ready for a Techies game, then they're not ready.
You're never really ready for a Techies game, though. I feel like it's the one hero on the game where no matter how good of a player you are, no matter how much preparing and planning you've done, you're never really ready for a Techies. And, my question is, who's playing Techies, John? You think it's Jabs? Could it be DJ? Could it be Massaros in the offlane? Could we see Moon on the Techies in the mid? I mean, who knows? Who knows what they're planning?
I did see someone in chat, and remember, they're 5 minutes behind. They did somehow call Moon Techies for this match. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow that prediction came true. He got the Techies right way before it was coming out.
Well,
we'll
I'm
have
pretty
to
sure
see.
they just
We'll
cheated, John. Let's be honest. We're not. Don't get their hopes up or anything. That they definitely just checked one of the websites and checked what the draft was. Don't spoil, by the way. As you may have noticed, people are getting banned for spoiling during the BTS Pro Series 4. So please don't. Have some respect to the other viewers, please. Apart from that, last pickups, Vice Esports, they do go for the Shadow Shaman. FNATIC, they do have one more pickup to make. I don't know what to say about this draft anymore, John. I think it's just all over the place. And there's the Void Spirit. So Moon should be on the Void. I think we're going to see a Snapfire offlane. And like you said, probably Jabs. No, Moon's on the Snapfire. So Massaros Void Spirit. And that'll be a Jabs Techies. All right.
Yeah. They're not going too wild. I would have loved to see a mid Techies. To be fair, I don't know what you do with that. I guess mines are pretty nice. That takes me back. Wasn't Dota 1 wasn't the old play mid techies and then mine the ramps and no one would ever know for some reason? That was the old style in Dota 1 if I recall right. It's always the ramps for some reason. Still, really solid draft here. Vice flexing a bit. They do go with the Bob Tiny. So we'll see how much he can work in that mid lane up against Moon. The Snapfire, of course, does have that range advantage here. Scatter Blast can be really nice to burst down the Tiny. But Vice has some pretty strong support duos this time. So you're talking about double Hex with a Soul Bind, double Shackles, double Roar. So much control from Vice coming out from their Grimstroke combos. That could really set the pace. They've got this push lineup as well with a Beastmaster. FNATIC, and they've got the Lifestealer, which only really needs to worry about the Roar. They've got potentially a really fast Ags timing coming out for Moon, and that could play really nicely with her control, with the damage output they can have. We'll have to see how much Jabs can really bring out with this Techies pick, and whether or not it really pays off. I'm not sure why he's not taking it. Are they having a squabble inside? It's like, why'd you pick this? But he's the one drafting. Yeah, so he's going to have to argue with himself.
He just went to the bathroom for a second and came back after the draft, and there was a Techies there, and it's like, guys, is this for me? It's gonna be
waiting.
Go on, Jabs, take the Techies. Did he disconnect? No, Henry is the only one who DC'd and reconnected, so maybe we're paused?
No,
just nobody chose it. All right, fair enough. So nobody's playing the Techies. There you go.
Outstanding. That's a first. We'll see. Still, we'll see what Jabs actually does with it. Whether or not he's gonna have that impact we expect. The last time we've seen Techies, I want to say it was Bombi.
Look at this.
Was it even DS13?
Look at Jabs.
Yeah, Jabs didn't. Jabs
Where
didn't
am I?
anything.
Where am I?
4v5. Let's go.
Can we play 4v4? Zex is like, wait a minute. What's going on here?
Oh, Jabs. What happened? He didn't want to play it. Oh, he was bugged. No timer, Jabs.
Oh well, 4v5 it is. What's remaking? All right,
Remaking.
Righto.
Hey, maybe Chaps really didn't want to play that techies, huh?
I don't blame him, John. It's he's stuck with it now. So wait for the next lobby to be up.
That was a interesting time. Very interesting. Still, gives us some more time to take in the techies draft, enjoy the sights and the views. And it's gonna give us like a golf match.
But while we're
You've
waiting,
never played golf, yeah?
No, I haven't. I have some. You know, I grew up in a poor region of Sydney, John. We didn't get golf. I mean, the best we could do is we could like hit balls with like a cricket bat or something, and you know, accidentally damage someone's car and just run for our lives.
That's the spirit.
Naked man just runs out of the shower and chases us. Not that this actually happened or anything, by the way. I'm just saying this is the kind of things I've seen around my area. It's a very dangerous place. While we're waiting here, what's the win rate on Tech? I mean, we're waiting for the lobby, so I may as well have a look. Where is Techies? In pub games, you know, just because.
In pub games? Yeah, I think that's pretty atrocious right now.
50.6.
Oh god, it's not atrocious.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, level 1 Techies. I'm not a degenerate. I never played this hero, so I'm just proving to the chat that this, you know, I'm not a Techies player, alright? So don't get upset with me.
Oh, I've actually played one game. That's disappointing.
What?
Yeah, I've played one techies game. I've lost one game. I know what happened there. This was in 2015.
Were you sick at the time, John?
Oh god.
You going
Yeah,
through
no,
some
I think
stuff?
I randomed it. Like,
Oh, jeez.
we were all just figuring out what to do. I pressed a random button when it used to do something, and I got techies.
Yikes.
It's a sad time. It's a sad time. The enemy team had a Husker. Jeez. Way to try hard against the techies, bro.
Yeah, that's I'd do it too, though, John. You pick that crap against me. I'm choosing the cheesiest, most guaranteed win hero possible. I am not allowing the game to drag on for another 5 hours. You know, just hitting creeps over and over again and blowing up to mines. Anyway, back to our conversation about golf, John.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
you keep telling me, you know, that you live in a poor region. Yet you tell me all the time about golf. How do you play golf if you're poor, John?
I don't play golf. I play video game golf, right?
Oh.
So I played when I was a kid. I was the best player on Tiger Woods 93, was it, or 98? Tiger Woods, the first one on the PS1, 96 or something really old school. I was really good in that. And then I played a lot of Pangya. If you're a cultured person, you know what Pangya is from 2006, 2005. Anime golf, Mike. Could you ask for anything better? I don't think you could. Yeah. It used to be a thing. It used to be fun.
That's revolting, John. I mean, I thought golf was bad, and then you bring up anime golf. It's like, whoa. It gets worse. Jesus.
We're finally back with the techie. So Jabs reluctantly picked the techie. You saw him. He picked last. Very reluctantly taking this hero.
I told you. He
No
just came out of the
excuses
bathroom. he didn't know he was playing techies. Masros drafted this. It was Masros.
I love it. Well, let's see how it goes. Do have the game unfolding, and we're going to see how the lanes go. Should be a fun one. If not, well, mainly because it's Jab techies. Dual lane of techies plus Void Spirit, I have to tell you, is actually pretty exciting. You get the value point in the Aether Remnant. That is a blast-off setup.
You should have known.
So maybe we see Masteros and Jabs just go for this kind of play down the line. Maybe level 2, level 3 is when they start to play with that blast-off Remnant combination if they can land it. That would be pretty sick. They will have a bit of a hard time catching out the Jug. Blade Fury is just going to ruin all that magic damage. So Palace does have a lot of breathing room here to just survive the quite possibly worst lane you could ask for. Well, not worst, but most annoying lane to deal with. And we're just going to have to see, again, if Jabs can carry through and really make this techies work as he leaves that top lane.
He does. He goes back down to the bot. Maybe trying to go for a first blood attempt with this blast off. See if they can achieve one, as he's going to laugh the whole game, I'm sure, just to annoy me. Damn laugh.
Jeez.
Oh,
Jabs,
goodness
how
me.
many Techies games he's played? He's level 7, so he's played enough to be a degenerate.
Okay. I mean, it only takes one game, John, so don't try to defend yourself now. 2 for 2 bounty rune trade. So, they will go for a 2 for 2. Fairly even start. Of course, the top lane, we are going to see Masaros. He'll be up against Zenki and the lovely Jug being played by Palos. Nice, pretty dominant kind of lane with this duo of Jug, Grimstroke. Can be very hard to deal with. I believe I hear a Techies behind Masaros, and it was actually in front. Jabs, he TPs up towards the top lane after not achieving first blood. And there we have it. Blast off straight off the bat. Looking to clear out the wave early and get the level advantage and do a lot of damage to Palos. It's a level 1 hero, John. It makes sense that it gets rid of half your HP.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd want when someone tosses themselves in front of you. The silence as well, it's a good touch. Palos not going to be enjoying this. Wave is going to shove slightly in, not too bad for him. Zenki and Palos, you talked about that combo to Grimstroke. They need to wait for level 2, level 3. That's when it's comfy. Inkswell up with a spin. You might be able to get something. Masaros, for his part, they're just working this lane. You know, they're just getting the farm up. I don't think Palos should be under too much pressure. At the same time, Jabs is going to keep doing this.
Absolutely, just another blast off. We'll have a look at the other lanes while we have a chance, because God knows there's going to be some mines being placed soon here. So mid lane, Bob and Moon going to be up against each other. I'd say Moon should have a decent advantage on the Snapfire up against the Tiny. Of course, you do have the potential to toss back and be a little bit annoying, but overall, Moon should have the advantage.
Yeah, it's not going to be a hard time for him. Bob's going to have to work extra hard to get some last hits here. You're already seeing him lag behind just a tad, at least in terms of EXP, which is not necessarily something you want as the Tiny. So Moon just going to be using the Scatter Blast to really bully out Bob. If he does get support rotations out, though, this could be devastating. You've got some really good supports on Vice side. The Shadow Shaman's something to watch out for at the 4-minute mark, so Moon's got to be very aware of the movement across lanes. Still, so far, Moon off to a much better start compared to Game 1. This should set the pace for a snap. We'll have to see if he can sustain that and if Bob gets an opening.
Oh, nice toss back, but it's not going to be underneath the tier 1 tower. Of course, bot lane, the one we haven't looked at quite yet, it's going to be DJ and Raven up against Samael and Enryu. Be an okay lane here for Vice. I mean, obviously DJ is going to be a little bit frustrating to play against on the Undying, but overall, once you get a few more levels up in the ball, I suppose you can start to annoy Raven a little bit on this Lifestealer. It's just a matter of how long Jabs intends to stay as mid lane. Bob does end up dying. Moon looks like he was getting jumped by the avalanche toss of Bob, but eventually just turns back around underneath the tier 1 tower, and Jabs denies himself up at the top lane as it looks like he was being spun upon.
Yeah, it's what you'd usually see from the Techie, so a bit of an early start for FNATIC. 1 kill up, Moon is the big one, and Palos,
Palos
might not be healthy.
Oh, Masaros, nice to simulate there, is going to be able to get the kill, and Palos just didn't want to run and maybe just assumed he was not going to be able to get away anyway. Does end up dying, and that'll mean a 2-0 so far for the side of FNATIC.
There's just some big kills coming out, some really important heroes. Masaros finding that kill means that her Void Spirit runs into that level 6 a lot faster. Does get some solo space as well while Jabs is working his way back top. You're slowing down Palos' timing. Jug does want to flash farm early on, so just these small wins really for FNATIC.
Masaros going to get stunned up by an Inkswell, and a spin is going to be out with the silence. Masaros has no way out of this. He will end up dying to Palos. So they do end up getting a nice return kill. However, down at the bot lane, now Enryu going to be in trouble, and Raven is able to take that kill. Samael, meanwhile, does kill off DJ. You'd argue that Raven is going to be much happier with his own trade on the Beastmaster.
Definitely a bigger win for the Lifestealer. Again, just getting yourself a good start here on FNATIC's end. They are still nicely ahead, 3-2. 1k lead in net worth. Not a massive amount, mind you, but they are having it. And Jabs caught out of position.
He definitely is. Spin going to be out. Palos getting another kill with the spin on the Jug. Masaros unable to help this Techie's pick. We'll just have to watch Jabs go down in front of his eyes.
Yeah, it's a it's one thing to watch out for. Once the silence comes out, it's dead.
Oh, Moon's going to get a nice kill mid lane, John, all by himself. Bob trying to go for the TP. Moon waiting for the right time to go for the cookie. And Moon is really dominating this mid lane.
Definitely is. It's down to the fact that it's a melee hero up against a Snapfire. This is just a lane that Moon will absolutely bully out. He's got his max, well, level 3 Scatter Blast ready. He's got the Kisses ready as well if he wants to go around the map. Bob is going to have to try to make some space around the map once he hits his 6 spike. So just get an immediate pick off to try and catch up, although up top.
Oh, nice to simulate out. Masaros just making it in the nick of time. A very tough lane to go into here for Masaros as now the body blocks come out, but Enryu bot lane does also die. So both off-laners dying once again to the position 1s on either side of the map. And I'd still say this favors Raven. He's finding way more CS than Palace. In fact, he might get some IL. And he does a double kill out for Raven off the back of the rotation there from Moon on the Snapfire. And things are looking very, very good for the start of this game for FNATIC.
Yeah, it definitely is. They're just getting the rotations out. They're getting some good stacks out as well with jabs. He has been pretty low-key with the techies this game, but he has built up some good stacks in jungle. Should be nice to clear those out down the line and gives him a little bit of an injection. You can see Vice starting to work some supports mid. We see Zenki just kind of hanging around here. Bob still has to hit his level 6 though. That means his kit isn't as big, but he has even more supports. They might want to punish Moon here.
Absolutely. However, I see Jab's getting very low. And he is actually going onto Enryu and does get the first kill of the game for himself. So Enryu really suffering here, but Moon mid lane looks like he's been caught out. Bob is going to be there with his 2 supports, and they do end up killing off the Snapfire.
Yeah, that's the punishment they were looking for on Vice, giving Bob a little bit of breathing room here to play catch-up. Still lagging pretty hard behind, but every single kill can help your tiny snowball, which is important for Vice. A lot hangs on the timings Bob can hit. His blink timing going to be really important for him to start making some plays, as you should expect Paulus to take the backseat once his Mask of Madness is up. He is having a good time up top. Number 3 in net worth, but FNATIC does have their cores up on top by a decent amount. 200 gold up on Moon, and a full nearly 800 gold on Raven above the highest net worth core in Vice. So they've got to find some ways to slow this down.
He's going to be targeted again up at this top lane. He does Astral Step away this time, but you can really see the priority here for Vice is slowing down Masaros. He might go for the courier, but he's in big trouble now. A cookie out from Moon, trying to save, but the spin is there from Palos, still to simulate. Back into the backlines, Masaros! He got Zenkin, he will survive! The Omni comes through, but it's not going to be enough. Masaros, he walks away from this, and now Palos is in trouble. He's going to try and run. He will go down a Moon. How does he do it, John?
Just on the edge. Just really playing on the edge. FNATIC backing him up at the right time as well. Reading the map movements of Vice. And it's almost the same thing we saw in game 1. Vice would try to get a rotation out. FNATIC knows exactly where they want to be.
Look at the mid lane, John Samael. He's so slow, he can't run away from the Mortis Kisses, and Jabs comes in with the blast off. He'll get the kill. Now Bob's in danger. DJ's going to drop the tombstone. He'll try to run, but the zombies are going to chase him down and slow him down. Moon still on the chase as well, has another scatter blast. More slow. DJ will just pop the flesh golem for this. Gives him a bit of a taunt. Moon's going to have the cookie, and that'll be enough. And they may just start setting up on this tier 1 mid tower now, as they do have a techies. And the mines work on objectives for some reason.
Yeah, why not? Really nice amount of damage done in that mid-tier 1 already. They're buying a lot of space out here as well. While all of this movement's forced out, Raven just gets the farm up freely. He is queuing up his armlet, just lacking that recipe now. So our lifestealer is set to really get big. Still number 1 net worth, Moon following closely behind. Palos starting to lag a bit on the jug. He's going to need a lot of space in that jungle. He's going to need his Mask of Madness up soon if he wants to buy that space out. You are taking huge hits on Enryu and Bob. This is just uncharacteristic for Bob especially, but that blink timing we were talking about for the Tiny is not going to be there quickly enough. So our Tiniest the playmaker is going to take a while to come online, and Vice really needs a hero up front. Like, you've got this Beastmaster who has Roar, but you don't really have the easiest way to gap close. They're going to need to either look for an objective fast or try to get a pick off with this Roar down bot.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to give props to Moon on that Snapfire. I mean, you talked about how much the farm has struggled here for Bob, and it's really bad. Like, Moon is currently doubling up on his net worth at almost 10 minutes in, which is kind of insane. We'll see what Bob can do to catch up. You look at Jabs, John, he's got the mine started. So this is that point where it gets really scary to just walk around the map, as Jabs is going to just start mining up all the high grounds. And there are going to be some unfortunate victims, I'm sure, to these mines. Props to FNATIC as well. Even with the techies in their game, they are finding themselves further and further ahead, as Bob just can't catch a break in that mid lane, just taking so much damage with one combo, and Moon does have the kisses up now. Bob, he's going to go in for an avalanche toss. There is going to be help now. Samael comes in with the wards being placed down, and Moon looks like he will die. Raven coming in. Meanwhile, Bob being chased by DJ will go down. Raven finds Samael, and now Zenki trying to run, but they have the damage out. DJ with a double kill on the Undying, and Raven will get started on that mid-tier 1 tower.
That was a lot of ults to throw out from Vice.
Oh, Masaros.
Wards as well. Ooh.
Oh, beautiful plays now from Masaros. He forces out the Omni Slash out of the jug, and, well, unfortunately for Palos, he doesn't quite get the kill, and now Masaros just going to TP out. And poor Enryu was around to try and catch him out with the roar, but he could not get there in time.
They're just losing all across the map. They lose their mid-tier 1 in the end. You can't really contest the Lifestealer. Again, Rage just ruins what you want to do with your combination in Tiny. There's a smoke out as well. And FNATIC Moon, he's just ready to go. He's got travels. That's pretty much it. But he's just got such a huge level spike that you have to be worried.
Oh, Palos in trouble now. Has been silenced up for such a long time. The mine's there as well. Jabs will take the kill. On to the next. Samael trying to run. But look at this. It's raining fire right now. Samael, he doesn't know which way to go. He's going to die to DJ in the end. There are more rotations coming in, but you've only got an Undying to go for. Looks like they are just going to go for it. They'll just take what they can get. Bob, meanwhile, finds Jabs in the back lines. DJ going to go for a TP. Play out is going to make it as well before the Inkswell comes in. And so the only thing they get for their trouble is going to be a Jabs kill. And while that was happening, they are losing that top tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's not the favorable trade for Vice. You are still happy about finding a pickoff, but that was our first roar. And it doesn't really line up for any big kill. And even down mid, Raven just applying that pressure onto Samael by himself. You just can't stop him. The focus of Vice is just a bit too scattered here.
That it is. Bob can't really go for the kill onto Raven, of course. He's just going to have to leave him be. And he'll just start taking stacks away from Vice Esports. They're just taking all the stacks, John. I mean, you're already so behind in net worth. You need these stacks to try and catch up, but you just can't. They just take them all away.
This is really going to hurt them. And oh, Masaros?
Yeah, Bob's in trouble again. Masaros, a great setup with that 8th Remnant into the Dissimulator. Moon will happily take the kill onto Zenki now. Zenki, look how slow he is right now, John. He just can't walk away from this. They're just going to dive him underneath the tier 2 tower. 8k net worth lead for FNATIC, and this is just complete domination.
It's not as even as game 1. Much stronger start here for FNATIC. Vice struggling to find a spot in the map. They've got this Mask of Madness on Palos. He still needs to farm up. He's lost the stacks. He's being surrounded as well.
Oh, Masaros is on Palos again. Remnant not going to land. Palos going to go for a quick TP out with the spin and is going to make it. It's going to be very frustrating, though, for Palos. He's just having to run all across the map. And they're going to try for that bottom tier 1 now. But look at Jabs. He's doing techies things, John. Not many mines out yet, but you can successfully defend quite easily with just a couple mines around. Can be very, very hard to get through with these creeps, as Enryu might just have to go for a roar onto Jabs to really get out of this situation. Palos going to dive him. They do get the Hex off, and now Jabs should just die. And they will be able to get him.
That's a solid pickup. Should allow them to finally take a tier 1 down bot. Going to be their first objective of the game, so Vice is going to get a nice gold injection there. Does cost them a lot of heroes coming in just to secure this, but they'll take what you can get.
Trying to go after Moon. Moon did not connect with the Scatter Blast there. Bob does have the avalanche now, but he's a bit too far, so Bob will put a chicken sticker there.
Oh, Bobby.
I love that it took him like half a second to actually get the sticker down. He had to actually stop there for a second, just really just think about, where did I put that sticker? Oh, this is the one. Yeah, that's the one. Meanwhile, on the side, they are trying to close in into the mid lane. However, Raven has found Bob.
Bob.
With Masaros, they just astral step their way in.
Yeah, it's got to measure his words there. Bitten in the bum because of that chicken sticker, and now FNATIC with that kill goes straight into the Roche. No wards here from Vice, so it should be a straightforward take for FNATIC, and Vice can't afford to give these objectives out. They've got a Beastmaster, but they haven't been able to get any Hawks out to spot this, so again, just going to be a very quick Roshan here for FNATIC. Sub 20 minutes in. Gonna be a lot harder to pierce through them with a second life. And Vice, all they can do right now is farm up. They've got 9k deficit. Their most farmed hero is Palus's Jug, which is still lagging severely behind even Masaros' offlane. It's just not the look we want.
Oh, Jabs actually ends up dying to Bob on the side. Doesn't allow them to get close to the Roshan, but bot lane looks like they are going to get started. Masaros just jumps in with a 3-man Resonant Pulse, and now the Raven has been roared up. Is it going to be enough? The Omni Slash flies through as well. Raven still alive, but they do get the Aegis now with the Ether Shock. Palos, meanwhile, chasing down Moon. He will have the Mortimer's Kiss. No, in fact, he won't, but he does have the Gobble Up play if he wants to try and commit. Masaros now being gripped up, but a nice Gobble Up is going to be there. Now, Enryu, the one to drop along with Samael. They'll go after Palos. Invest there onto Masaros. Palos trying to fight back, but he really just can't. Masaros will pick up that kill. Now Bob in the backside. Can he sneak up behind anyone? Looks like he's going to give it a shot. He's not going to run into a target he really can take out, but instead he does go after DJ. A great kill there for Bob, but he may have given his own life away for this, as he is going to be surrounded by Masaros and Raven, and that should mean that Bob is just set to die here. Tries to go for the tree toss on the courier. Will not really be able to get it. Is still trying to run. Gets a blink away. And Bob is going to get out. Moon gives him the tip. Positive
call
Moon.
from Bob. Yeah. He is tempting fate, though. Bob is still hanging around here.
Calm down, Bob. That's not the right way, sir. He's going to blink away again. He's going to be all right.
No, there were some pings coming out towards those mine stacks as well. I think Jabs is getting a little bit antsy with getting some people walking into his mines. He wants to find those kill smite, but they're not happening yet. So
that's what you get for
we'll
playing
see
techies,
if it does
John.
come out.
That's what you get. Every time I've got a techies on my team, they always start pinging the mines, like bait them into the mines, bait them into the mines. If you picked a normal hero, we wouldn't need to bait anyone. We could just win the team fight. Anyway, smoke up from FNATIC. They're going to loop around onto Bob, who just blinked into them. Aether Remnant going to lock him down. His team is somewhat nearby, but they need to hurry up. It looks like they've given up on Bob. They'll let him die on his lonesome as mid lane. They have made the jump now, and who is that?
Ooh.
It's going to be Jabs, but a nice cookie up from Moon. Save the tape for Jabs. They can't get the kill off, and now FNATIC, they'll turn back around. They're going to go straight after Samael, and Samael will die onto Enryu now, who's very low. They'll try for Zenki. Zenki will TP, but Enryu will not be so lucky. And with that, FNATIC gobble up. DJ going to find himself some nice creeps. Very nice. Moon will take the last
Moon
one.
takes it all. He took them all. Gobble up. That AoE damage, Mike. That's the big issue. It's, I believe, yeah, it's around 700 damage total with that burn. So that is definitely going to get an adjustment down the line. Still, Vice, they're trying. They're not finding the exchanges they want. The blink from Bob, not quite enough to really set up for themselves. And FNATIC, I mean, they're just playing on the edge. The cookie play is coming out from Moon. He is definitely awake today. Maybe he's gulped down a whole can of Monster for himself. But he is really up there, getting his team on point. And Vice, just, they need to find something to do here. They're really just starting to pile on the power. Jug's not the hardest core.
Avalanche toss. Masaros, he's a big target, but the Soul Rip Glimmer Cape going to save Masaros' life. And now they can turn around with the Tombstone and the Gobble Up out from Moon, landing perfectly onto Bob and Zenki, and they might just find both of them. The Mortimer's Kisses, they won't really land on Samael, but that doesn't matter. They are very, very happy with what they are getting, as now the Hex comes in. Palos, he does have the Omni. Masaros going to jump into the back lines. There goes Raven, a massive pick off there for Vice Esports. Maybe they can capitalize on more. They sure want to. Jabs, he's been placing mines, but it seems though Vice, they are very well aware of them, and they will not walk into them. But they won't find anyone else either. Or maybe they will. They got eyes on Moon now. But he will be able to blink away. Samael. Not going to go for the Hex or Shackles onto Moon. So Vice, they do get a pretty big pick there on Raven. That was Raven's first death of the game. That'll help Palos out quite a bit, but they are still falling very behind in terms of net worth.
They've got some major spikes here in Vice's side, though. Necronomicon trees are out on Enryu, so they've got some way of detecting these mines with a true sight that the creep does have, although.
Oh yes, Samael. Not having a good time here, not with this gobble up out from Moon, although Shackle turn around. Glimmer Cape, where's the detection, boys? It's not there. They don't have detection. This Glimmer Cape is doing so much work out from DJ, and now the cookie in. Bob is going to avoid it. Moon, to move his way in, but won't have anything to lock Bob down, so toss back from Bob is going to be out with the Shackles again. Moon needs some help. Suicide is in from DJ. Now the Infest, but a great soul by now from Zenki with the double silence, trying to hold them down. Jabs does die. Raven pops out now. That'll mean Moon's gone. Now Vice going for more. They will find the Life Stealer, and that'll be the second time that they do manage to kill off this Life Stealer being played by Raven. Mind you, in the meantime, Masaros did end up getting an Aghanim Scepter and is looking to try and jump in, it looks like. I don't think he can do this by himself, but he might give it a shot.
Yeah, he's looking. Vice, though, they get a huge amount of kills there. A lot of gold swinging back their way. Not enough to overcome this deficit, but you can see Palos now even with a big chorus of FNATIC, kind of tying himself up in that jug. So you've got to be careful here, FNATIC. He did have a huge lead, but that just meant there was nowhere else to go but down. And it is starting to dip down a bit. Vice, if they can find a couple more of those kills in that way, if they can isolate these heroes, force the staggered response, and then they can actually bounce back in. They've been really disciplined to stay outside the mines, although that might slip up now if they start to feel confident. Like now.
Oh, there you go. Bob's gone. He's, I'm sure Jabs is very happy. It took a very long time for that to happen. It's just not right, is it? It's just not right.
Yeah, you come out, you feel good about isolating these heroes. You decide to walk up into your jungle, and then you get war crimed. You just get war crimes on you. That's it. That's not the best feeling. It does take out a huge chunk of that swing as well from Vice. So they go back to 10k behind. They still have some good progress coming out. They've got to play around their Soul Divine combo and the toss back. Like, Bob has to be on point with finding these targets. Again, if he forces FNATIC to go in one by one, it hasn't been looking too good in the last two fights, so they have been a bit careless, and that's something Vice can definitely abuse.
I do agree. Bot lane, they're waiting around right now, Vice, hoping somebody comes in to force out this bottom lane, but it looks like they are somewhat aware of the presence of Samael and Zenki. Enryu kind of doing a similar thing in the mid lane, but nobody from FNATIC is showing up or giving the opening. Moon will go ahead now, but of course this is underneath his tier 2 tower, and while that's happening, the top lane is being forced in by Raven and Jabs with his mines. They will get that tier 2 going down now, and that evens out the objectives across the map. Vice, looks like they are kind of playing a little bit of the avoid game right now, trying to buy more time for Palos, who has overtaken in farm. So top of the net worth board is the jug.
Investment is paying off. Like, he is clearing out camps a bit faster with this Mask of Madness. They are playing it right, Vice, right? Like, they're avoiding the top jungle. They know there are mines there. They're forcing FNATIC to be the ones to respond, and they do manage to get them to go down mid instead.
Mid lane. Bob, Yule's up, is there. Masaros jumping straight in onto Zenki, and poor old Zenki, he surely doesn't survive this. He got the silence off in time, but it's about to wear off, and Masaros has the Resonant Pulse there. Very nice. Jabs pushing out the top lane as well, getting it prepared for a high ground push if it ever comes. And Masaros, he's having a look for more now. Oh, this could be devastating. He sees both of them TPing in. Samael going to blink forward for a Shackles, but look who's behind him. Masaros going to jump in. Omni Slash there, but it's only onto DJ. They will find the Undying, but they are going to lose the Shaman in the process, and now Enryu going to be in danger. The Aether Remnant won't lock him down. They turn around onto Palos instead, but Palos is going to be a little bit too hard to kill right now. In fact, Palos has the MKB up, however, Raven going to be gobbled back up, the Aether Remnant out again, holding him down. He will go, Zenki will die as well, the Soulbind is there, Bob's trying to come in for a double toss, but he will not be able to get it, and now Masaros back in after them. The Mortimer's Kisses are around, they've got this Tiny under control, and Bob is going to die. And that'll be your mid-tier 2 tower also dying. As FNATIC, they might even go high ground for a bit here. There aren't any buybacks available for Vice.
No, and even if they did, they don't have Omni Slash and their Jug, so their big hitters down. Roar down for half a minute as well. That should at least be a tier 3, possibly at least one set of racks. Looks like FNATIC are going to take that risk.
I mean, I don't blame them. Shackles, not there, just a Hex. Raven, going to heal up very, very quick. They don't have the Roar for another 5 seconds, so it is a very hard kill to hope for onto Raven right now, especially while he has that Infest available. Jabs put some mines just down the staircase in case they're required, but they don't look like they will be. In fact, he just pops them. Just because. Vice,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
It's a bit slower. They do smoke up, but Jabs has to be careful with his mines because of those Necronomicon trees. He's got to blow them up if he knows they're spotted still. Vice, if they find the angle, might be able to punish again. Just need to get that jump in.
It's a tough fight, John. 20k behind. They're going to jump in with Bob. Roar is going to be there. They're focusing down the Void Spirit once again. But Bob, Avalanche not going to be that great. Now the first golem out. They want to take the team fight. Palos, he's got Omni Slash in 10 seconds, but he might not have the time for it. Gobble Up is there. Jabs just jumping in with the Suicide. A lot of damage out. Palos going to melt. And now they found Samael as well. Masaros going to get Avalanche tossed by Bob. Bob just going to blink his way out of there. Gobble Up is going to be the wrong way. They can't exactly go to the high ground for that bot lane yet. There is still a tier 2 tower. They could try for the top tier 3 instead. Looks like they're happy to just take their time though. I think they're feeling very comfortable with this net worth lead. And you've got this this scaling Snapfire who just picked up a Daedalus. Still needs 5 levels. Still needs 5 levels for that, you know, that really balanced Snapfire experience.
I'd say this is already pretty darn good at 20 though. You've got the Shredder using your attack damage, so you've got a lot that can fly out on the snap now. They are going to go for a steady Roche. Vice, again, not in any position to contest. They do at least have the Hawk spotting this one out, so they know it's happening. Whether or not they can make it out in time is a different question, as they have to pass through these mines, and the Roche is not going to last that long anyway.
It is not. They're trying to make their way over. Jabs is threatening some mines here, and look at Zenki, he's just trying to avoid it. Avoid the inevitable, that is, as mid lane looks like they have made the jump. Enryu gonna go down. Masaros stepping forward, wanting to go for more. Gobble Up on point onto Jabs, but Palos is going to come in. Looks like Palos might be able to get the kill onto Jabs. He still has the blast off. Wolf Force Staff away into Raven. Bob, Avalanche toss, does kill off DJ, and now the Omni comes through onto Moon. They get the Snapfire. DJ's falling low. Raven, he's going to be alright, but Palos, he wants to go for a chase now. Masaros, meanwhile, reinitiating back into the backlines onto Samael. They'll get the Shaman back onto Palos. Avalanche toss is great, though, with the Ink Swap bomb. He's going to set up for 2 of them. Still, they'll only get 1 for now. Back to DJ, however. Looks like they'll find the Undying as he TP's up a Masaros. He'll get Zenki. They hex him up now. They should have the control this time around, and it looks like they will. Vice Esports clearing them out. That's a very nice team fight for this Dire side, and that'll surely help with the net worth a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to go straight into the Roche. The Minds miss as well from Jab. Pops him as the spin comes in. So this is going to be a big bounce back for Vice. Aegis plus Cheese potentially going their way. No buybacks here in FNATIC, and this is a nice swing. Not enough to wipe that deficit, but again, we've seen Palos, #1 now in net worth, and FNATIC again streaming in 1-by-1 fall apart. They need to play as a team. They can't allow Vice to rip through their lines, and every time that happens, they will lose out, as Vice do have a lot of burst potential on hand, and FNATIC, they are feeling confident, but they don't have much defensive tools on hand to save themselves beyond the Glimmer Capes. So you really do have to respect just how well Bob is reaching into the back and forcing these kinds of responses out from FNATIC.
That they are. Into the tier 3 bot tower, Palos goes. He wants to even out the objectives a little bit, try to make a nice comeback going their way. Moon gonna jump in. That's a lot of damage flying out as Bob. He tried to get a toss off onto Moon, but he couldn't quite get there. Still going to be very hard to go high ground because you don't know where the mines are. And even if there aren't any, it's just the fear of them being there is what's really scary. They'll go into the mid tier 2s instead. Backdoor protection about to wear off as the creeps do come in. Bob trying to go in with an avalanche and a toss back onto DJ. They don't roar him up though. Masaros meanwhile jumping back onto Samael, gets rid of the Shaman, and Zenki's gone as well. Now they have free reign over the rest of Vice Esports. Zenryu dropping so darn quick. Palos will TP out, but this is looking really bad. Vice, they're going to lose everything else as Masaros. He finds the Tiny once again. Bob's going to try and run. I don't think he gets out of this one. He's going to try. He has the cheese, but he will not pop it. He'll just accept the fact that he's dead, and Raven will be able to get himself a triple kill as now they look to go high ground once again.
Yeah, that's really down to the fact that they made way too many commitments down to DJ. Just throwing those spells out allowed FNATIC to find an opening where the control was going to be lacking from Vice. So with that kind of mistake, high ground opens up. Apollos does have the Ags, but it's him alone for a few seconds here. Not the safest spot for a Jug. He needs some backup.
That you do. Masaros jumping in. Oh, he got the silence off on Palos. Can they lock him down enough? He is really darn low. He has the Aegis anyway. Masaros going to get Avalanche tossed up. Astral Step is there, so he can get himself out. He needs a bit of a reset. Bob, meanwhile, looking to capitalize, waiting for that blink to be off cooldown. He's going to try and avoid the Aether Remnant, but gets high ground on with the 4-star. Gobble Up is there. They've caught Palos. The Jug is going to be okay for now as he goes for a swift slash onto Jabs. He'll be okay. Raven does take down Enryu. And now Palos looks like he doesn't really have a target to go for, so he's going to back off. He still has the Omni. He might just turn around now. I believe that's a swift slash coming out. Masaros jumping back in. Meanwhile, Moon did kill off Samael. Palos. Cookie. Not going to land. Open wounds will be there. He still has that big Omni. He has a Swift Slash again as well, so he's going to pop the Lincolns on Masaros. Oh, the mines though, a lot of damage coming out. Palos dropping very, very low. The Aether Remnant not going to lock him down. The Gobble Up flying in, but Raven is able to secure the killers now. Bob going to be in danger. Masaros again looking for those back lines. Palos just going to try and spin his way out of this one. He's still in trouble though. The Aether Remnant going to lock him down, but they don't have enough lockdown. Swift Slash is out. The Yules is there. Can they at least kill this Void Spirit? The toss is there. It looks like they finally can. And now Palos will go in with the big Omni Slash onto Moon. Does get the Snapfire onto Raven. But the Infest on the Necro Creep is going to allow him to get out, or maybe not. Avalanche and Toss is going to come out, but Raven just kills Bob on the way out of the Infest. Turning back around now onto Enryu. Gets the Abyssal Blade. Moon with the buyback. Zenki's going to go down. Palos, he's been bashed up. The Gobble Up's there. The Swift Slash is not going to last long enough. He'll go for a run. But Samael now coming back in with the Soulbind and the double shackles. Palos, he might get a cleanup here. He does get Raven back onto the Snapfire. He will also get Moon.
Oh my god. That was such a back and forth fight. FNATIC draws it out a bit too long. Vice again finding that punishment out, getting the stream in 1-by-1. This is where the Techie's contribution sort of falls flat. Jabs needs to get either a big silence or get his mines in a usable spot. So far though, they haven't been able to start spotting those mines out, so they're not getting too much value here. As you can see, Samael and Palos have cleared out that one camp mine spot, so you're running out of spots where Jabs has invested his time to. He will need the Ags. That's going to be the next step for Techies, possibly waiting for his level 20 and 25 talents as well to be up. And that's when you can really be comfy with the tech he's going on now. It's still Vice. And they find some good kills. They still are 17k behind. It doesn't feel like it's starting to matter as much, though. Palos is becoming a bit of a beast. They are getting so much value from the Necronomicons here from Enryu. The double Shackle, double Hex, double Roars are giving way too much control out. And FNATIC needs to win these fights a lot faster before the control comes in.
Oh, Shackles. Rather, Hex is out with the Swift Flash out from Palos and the Roar coming in. They got Masaros. Oh, Vice Esports. They may be making a pretty big comeback here. Palos gonna get the tier 3 tower onto the melee barracks. Not gonna take him very long. FNATIC, they may have gotten a bit cocky with this Techies pickup, John. Jabs, they got the Aghanim Scepter now. It's very late, but they've got it. Mind's down. Palos.
Oh.
4-staff and Mind Play is out from Jabs. I think I spoke too soon, John. Maybe they weren't being too cocky.
Oh my god. They placed a minefield sign on a different side of the map as well, so no one would have suspected a thing. They would not expect it there, and it just pays off big. Now Vice, I mean, they found a good set of objectives. All that really does is even out the map. So we're looking at probably the same map layout here. Tier 2 on the bot for Vice, Tier 2 at the top for FNATIC. Mid completely gone, but that's it. FNATIC now needs to clean up their act. Adjust their initiation. Play tighter together as a team. Coordinate your fights a bit better. It has been falling a bit flat. Vice has been finding openings. Also, level 25 and Moon has to come in. Just get that multi-shot and the little shredder. You're probably going to delete a couple of heroes on your way. And that just immediately gives you the numbers advantage. So have that done. Maybe finishing up this Hex on Masters would help as well with control.
Oh, Bob?
But, oh.
Oh, Bob, he's right underneath an Observer Ward. He didn't realize it. Been used up, but he's gone. Oh, poor old Bob is not having a good time at all this game, John. 15 deaths on the Tiny. It's a rough game for him.
It really is. It's been a slower start. His laning was already a tough time. They are pushing really well, and this is where the Shadow Shaman and Beastmaster kick in. Wards down, creep army up. They can take these objectives in the tier 3 faults. They can get some really good damage onto those racks as well.
Yeah, Masarosi is there to defend, and DJ is also going to come in just in case he needs the help. They do force out a Glyph, and that is going to be a little bit of a win here for Vice. Maybe now they could go up towards the top lane and see if they can catch anyone out. Jabs is under vision as we speak, but there's mines everywhere. Gobble up is there. Raven, though, he's been hexed up straight away. Moon's still jumping in. Now the Swift Slash is there. In fact, that's an Omni Slash coming out. Moon's dropping very low, and so is Raven. Swift Slash is also out, but the Infest play. Moon not going to make it. Raven can hit himself out of there. He's going to try. Samael gets the Hex off. Dissimulate out. Masaros trying to slow them down. So he will step away. Palos looking for the outpost, but Raven looking to go back in with that Abyssal Blade. Maybe he can, but the Swift Slash out again onto Raven. Palos won't have enough damage, and now DJ going to show up, but another great Hex out from Samael. Palos gets rid of the Tombstone. Bob has respawned, looking to initiate with his team. Aether Remnant going to be taken by Palos. Toss in onto DJ. Samael, he's looking for a Hex up again, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get it. Meanwhile, Palos did buy an Eye of Skadi on his way out. So you do have that up now. And there is also a Roshan. And they are aware of it on Vice Esports. It may be time to go.
And it's going to be a very scary spot for FNATIC. No buyback and Moon. They're going to have to try to fight this Rosh without the kisses, without the gobble of place. It's going to be a bit of a tall order. I have to say the big key for Vice now is this BKB on Samael. He's getting full duration shackles up with his talents. It's just ridiculous how long he holds people down, and they need to be aware of that as they can't disrupt that.
Masaros jumps in, but Samael has to pick up the Aegis. Whew, very close call there. Masaros still looking to run away. I suppose in some way you did just deny the Aegis away because you've got it on a Shaman now. So even though he didn't steal it, he does force the Shaman to take it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that's too bad for Vice. Like, the BKB on Samuel's been enabling them anyway. Now he can kind of be up front. He doesn't need to worry about his positioning as much to get the control out for his team. I'd say this is actually a net boon for Vice, as they can really start to be a little bit more relaxed about their Shadow Shaman.
Oh, they've got that 25 on Moon now as well. It's a lot of damage being pumped out. Bob, got to be very careful, but a nice hex out from Samael. They're going to go in now, Bob, but Raven and Masaros straight on that Shaman. They want him dead. He does have the Aegis. Cheese going to be 8 by Bob. He'll survive as well. Now the Omni Slash. Frames going everywhere. Raven, he's going to be the first one to die. Enryu goes down as well, but how do you deal with Palos? They're going to try. Palos going to spin away for now. Samael, meanwhile, surviving. However, Jab's also going to die with Samael. Masaros, where are you going? Swift Slash is there. He'll get the Yules off. DJ trying to help out. Moon's there as well. There's your multi-shot with the little Shredder doing so much damage to the Astral Step through too. Palos still alive. Has another cheese. The blast off is there onto Bob. Jabs is getting very low. Palos eats the cheese. The Swift Slash will kill off Jabs. Moon trying to get away from this jug. He's lost his mind. Masaros also trying to just move as DJ goes into the ghost form. The cookie gonna cancel off a TP. Palos trying to get out. He will not be able to. They wipe him out. And it looked like a good start for the side of Vice Esports. They did get Raven up first, but it did not prove to be enough.
That was very costly for Vice. They tried their best. I guess in that situation, you can definitely point to the Aegis on the wrong hero, kind of costing them, although it did buy them time, as they had to focus very hard on the Shaman twice over. He did manage to get his spells out anyway, did just fall flat. Losing Enryu fast was the bigger blow to Vice. Like, they could not really get off as much value as they could have. I don't think the Necronomicons were launched. The Roar didn't seem to be as impactful as well. And FNATIC do find that punishment. They've got that huge spike here with Moon. He just hits way too hard with his build-up. It's that point when you can see the balance in picking up that Snapfire core, and Moon is just going to be very happy. An awkward spot as both teams need to wait for respawns. FNATIC still holds the net worth lead. You can see, though, Palos is still comfortably above everyone else, about 4k up, but they haven't really been able to transition any of these wins into an objective take. So they've managed to buy time here in FNATIC. Hex is up on Masaros. Additional control coming through. And Vice need to... I mean, they're sort of finding their initiation. They need to really get the double stun, double shackles off. I think they've been in such a rush to initiate that they don't get that maximum control. They need them in every single fight.
Oh boy. Masaros got a timeless relic there, John. So everything's just got a longer duration now. However, you've got a timeless relic now in Samael as well, so he's got a hell of a lot of control to boot. Could be very dangerous times. Vice, they're going to go for a smoke again. Down to the bot lane. Jab's getting ready with the mines. Palos going to show up with Samael. He's right on the mines though, but Jab's going to blow them up. Samael got the BKB off in time. Jab's still in trouble. He will die to Palos, but they've lost Bob. That's a dieback on Bob. The wards have been dropped on the tier 4 towers. Meanwhile, Jab's going to die. That'll be the first life. They'll get rid of the tombstones. Moon going to show up with a cookie now. They want to get DJ out. Moon just shredding apart Senki. He'll have to buy back immediately. Now Raven going in with Masaros. He got the Hex off. It's such a long duration. The Jug cannot survive it. Uh-oh. 3 heroes down without buyback on Vice Esports. This will be the opportunity FNATIC's been waiting for to try to go back high ground.
Yeah, that is such a big win. They only find Jabs for their trouble. They tried to go for the juggler with those double serpent boards on tier 4s. Doesn't pay off. Now they're going to have to play the perfect defense game, and I don't see how a Shadow Shaman and a Grimstroke really the Divine comes out for Moon. He's had enough.
And why the hell not? Raven going to find Zenki in the base. That's a dieback on the Grimstroke. And that might have just spelt the end of the game. As that really should be it. They're going to try and hold on. I'm not sure what they can do with just the Shaman. Samael's just chilling in the fountain right now, wondering the same thing. They are going to allow the Ancient to go down. In fact, now they call the GG as Summerhill's just going to get dived in the fountain. FNATIC will force the GG out of them. And that is a really nice series between these two, I've got to say. It was definitely a lot closer than you would have expected. But FNATIC do manage to take out the 2-0 victory over Vice Esports.
Yeah, and that's a really important set of wins for FNATIC, of course, allows them to drag their way up in the upper bracket a little bit more and just adjust their placing there. Vice, unfortunately, are going to be stuck where they are. We'll have to see if the rest of the rest of the games left in groups will adjust them upwards, but that was a close one, right? There were moments in this match particularly where Vice looked like they were bouncing back in. Palos held on, he had a lot of farm, they were finding certain angles into FNATIC that was catching